Today, we will be talking about Cindy Sherman and her work throughout her life. My name is Ezekiel Machado, and today we'll be taking you through her portraits, her life's work, if you will. Today we'll be going over 3 of her artworks, first being untitled film stills, second being history portraits, and third being clowns. These have all been her very important and infamous artworks throughout her life. I personally related more to the untitled film stills in my personal opinion, but today I do want to talk about the ambiguity and openness to interpretation and how they inherit much contemporary very dynamic and conversations surrounding gender, encouraging the viewers to critically engage with the complexities of identity and representation. The impact of this artistic engagement is significant, furthering societal understanding and acceptance of diverse gender expressions. First, I want to start off with who Cindy Sherman is. She was born in 1954, and she was a highly influential American photographer, renowned for groundbreaking work for exploring identity and gender and the constructed nature of representation. Her career, spanning over several decades, has significantly impacted contemporary art, challenging established notions of photography role and the very definition of self-portraits. Rather than directly portraying herself, Sherman masterfully employs costume, makeup, and elaborate staging to inhabit the vast arrays of fictional characters. These arts of space and shade and color come together to display a bigger meaning, what she is trying to get at, using all of these elements to convey a message about gender and all of the societal norms that they try to put gender in, especially in this time. This body of work, the untitled film stills, it's a representation of gender identity in the media. The series comprises of 69 black and white photographs in which Sherman portrays various female characters seemingly lifted from the 1950s and 60s, and all of the B movies within that, like the ones that didn't make the actual A-list Hollywood. These aren't straightforward portraits, rather they are meticulous, they're crafted performances. Sherman adopts different personas through costume, makeup, and hairstyle and poses, embodying stereotypical female roles prevalent in low-budget cinema. The series' significance and representation through gender identity lives through the deconstruction of pre-existing representations. Sherman does not simply mimic these roles, she subtly critiques and exposes their artificiality. The characters are simultaneously alluring and unsettling, familiar with being strange. So if we looked at the last one, in the last slide as well, she's smoking a cigarette, she's lighting a cigarette up. Usually at that time you would see just guys doing that, like James Dean, those kind of guys, those actors just being rugged and tough and sparking up a cigarette. So to be able to see a woman do that and like make it really artistic, it's crazy, and people think that it was insane at the time as well. For the next one is her history portraits work. For this one, the series prompts critical reflection on the relationship between art, history, and the representation of gender throughout history, demonstrating how historical depictions continue to impact our understanding on female identity today. She basically took all of what we knew about the history portraits and she changed them up in a strategic act of subversion, kind of. Is more of like the subtle things of the female historical personas. She appropriates the visual language of famous paintings, often depicting herself in the place of the original female subjects. This appropriation is not merely imitative, it's a strategic act of subversion. By inserting herself into these established historical narratives, Sherman challenged the power of structure encoded within the original artworks. She exposes the often idealized, romanticized, and the ultimately limited depictions of women prevalent throughout history, using space and value. This is another slide about the history portraits. I just wanted to put both of these in as well because you can just see the subtle change in detail with just the nose, or the value of the color and how they are so vibrant, and just kind of abstract in a way, but still look very real and still look like they are historically, in a way, historically accurate pictures. So yeah, these are just 4 examples. This is the last one. This one was titled Clowns. In my personal opinion, I think it's very unsettling, to say the least. I don't have a thing towards clowns, but I just think that these pictures are very creepy. Anyways, Sherman challenges binary understandings of gender and compels the viewer to contemplate the fluidity, complexity, and the often grotesque realities of self-representation. The ambiguity and unsettling nature of the works invite profound reflection on the fragile and multi-faced nature of identity. Simplistic notions and forcing the confrontation with the inherent uncertainties of self-perception. Sherman's whole body of work throughout this whole clown's portrait impacted art history and cultural discourse across several distant series. She consistently challenges preconceived notions of femininity and performance aspects of identity. Her work transcends mere self-portrait. Her work transcends mere self-portrait, and it is sustained exploration of how identity is constructed, meditated, and consumed within the society context of her work. Through her whole discography, if you will, she really wanted to kind of break the walls of society norms and the gender roles of what everyone was the norm. It was this person and a bunch of other artists that were just very not content of what the way the world was at the time. And I feel like people now, don't think like her, like how she did then. And people then, probably thought she was crazy thinking about this stuff. And it just shows how progressive and how out of her time she really was. Wanted to show you guys a couple other pictures. These are just more unsettling pictures. I want you guys to also notice that, if you really do try to look at it, you can't tell if it is a woman or if it is a man. Especially, with all this makeup and all this, I don't want to say distraction, but all of these other colorful linens that are around them. And I don't think she wants you to know if they are women or men. I think that's what she kind of leaves up to interpretation, or maybe even leave it out altogether. She really just wanted to push the boundaries of what the gender role was. And I think this piece of her work really did that. Hope you guys enjoyed my presentation. This was really fun for me to make. There was a lot of things that I learned throughout this whole presentation, paper, and proposal that I will probably find, helpful in the future as well. So I had fun making this, and I hope you guys had fun watching. Thank you.